All right, hello, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Jackie, and this is Dream Ether. So you'll have to excuse my voice has somehow become hoarse, but I refuse to let that keep me from sharing a message. So I know it's been a few days, and I know that things have been really crazy. So I'm just going to get straight into it. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Guardian Angels. Thank you, Ancestors of the Light, and Archangel Michael for always protecting and guiding me. Just so you know, you are safe and you are welcome here. So let's get into the message. All right, what do you have for us today, Spirit? What message should we share today that you would like us to know? Okay. So I was getting a little bit of that, right? This is the Nine of Swords. And there's a dragonfly here as well. And dragonflies always remind me of like angels as well. Messengers from the spirit realm. Wow. Okay. I love when that happens. So there's a message here. The Nine of Swords speaks of the great inner despair that leads to an awakening. The character is embodied in self-pity, denial, disillusionment, and suffering. The Nine of Swords calls for us to arouse the personality from its long-held beliefs. Okay. Now is the time to decide to stop sitting in sorrow and to stop playing the victim. We can recognize our denial and face those aspects of ourselves that are limiting us. We can realize our bondage and wake up from our long sleep. This is the promising news. The swords are aligned and pointing eastward toward the rising sun, like the dawning of the day and awakening to a fresh new morning. Okay, so this is super good. Okay, this is awesome because, I'm not gonna lie, I've had to face some shadow parts of myself this weekend, just yesterday, as I do, as everyone should, always be recognizing of the things that are opportunities for us to grow. And anyways, before getting too ahead of myself, this card, the Nine of Swords, so it's awakening to the inner, the character is embroiled in self-pity, disillusionment, and suffering. So disillusionment and suffering. So being disillusioned is causing suffering, right? The widow skimmer is the large family of the dragonflies known as skimmers. Skimmers are disguised by brightly colored bodies and wings with bands or spots. Their wings are also generally shorter than other types of dragonflies. Widow skimmers have dark bodies with yellow stripes, and their clear wings are distinctively marked with large smoky-colored bands. They are slow-flying dragonflies that inhabit small ponds, lakes, and marshes, and in much of North America. In the Nine of Swords, the dragonfly represents our great potential for change. Dragonflies live in the mental realm of the air, see? They change rigid thought patterns and prompt the energy to change. The shimmering wings of the dragonfly represent the power of light. The dragonfly suggests with the commitment to our awakening, we too will shine with our own true color. True colors. As we contemplate the Nine of Swords, let us imagine freeing this spirit guide, the dragonfly, from his bondage. Ooh, and the belladonna. This is interesting. Okay. So, for me, if any of you guys have ever seen Practical Magic, you'll remember the scene where Sally or whoever, I can't remember the other sister's name right now, but she's like, Sal, get Jet's belladonna or whatever, and the belladonna is commonly known as a deadly nightshade. Its botanical name was derived from Greek mythology. Its name was taken from one of the three fates, Atropos, whose cuts the thread of life, just as deadly Nightshade would do if ingested. And in the movie, she practically kills this dude, okay? And they try to bring him back to life, and it's fucking crazy. But that's like my sisters and I's favorite movie. And, you know, just as much as like when you do tarot readings and things like that, Spirit, I believe, gives me the same message that I need to share with other people in a roundabout way. So in the same sense, I'm kind of dealing with some things myself. The belladonna comes from Italian and means fair lady. In the past, it was used by Italian women to make eye drops because it enlarged the pupils and made their eyes appear more beautiful. Symbolically, belladonna represents both falsehood and the ability to recognize bitter truths. And I don't know if you all have had to go through this, but this week I've had to come to some bitter truths. You know what I mean? It's one thing to love somebody, and it's another thing to enable somebody who needs to take the power back for themselves. And so, in the many relationships I've been in my life, actually only a few that were mature. So it's hard getting the realization to have to walk away from things, and not even just people, but things within yourself, mentalities or ways of thinking, you know? So let's get a little bit more here. Ooh, those fell right to the floor. Okay, so whoever I'm reading here for is definitely, you know, someone who knows how to take the power back in their life, but it still doesn't, it's starting to get, maybe it's going to start to get easier. You're recognizing how to do that, right? So we just drew the Magician. And the Magician, I mean, that's the first card in the tarot. Second in the major arcana, but it's the first number. It's a number 1 card though, because the Fool card in this is a 0. So anyways, the Magician is a conscious instrument of the life force. The uplifted wing channels the energy from the heavens, and the wing pointed downward brings that energy into manifestation. So in order for you to get your manifestations, you've had to free the dragonfly. And do you see that dragonfly that we just freed in this last card? That's really cool. That's really symbolic. That's amazing. So yes, you know, it isn't always easy, but like, you know, your direct connection with manifestation, with source. Okay? The Magician is the keeper of heavenly power. A highly developed mind and great powers of concentration give the Magician perfect control of the 4 elements and any situation in the earthly realm. And I usually also open with thinking the earth, air, wind, and fire, and the 4 directions, north, south, east, and west. As I do find that their energy really is part of my energy work here as well. I speak with the winds, and I speak with the earth, and I speak with the fire and the flame within, and you know, I drink from the waters of the world, and I am the waters of the world. So that might resonate for you as well. A magician can be either male or female. Okay, it's funny, I kind of feel like my shirt, my outfit matches this magician right now. That's really interesting. I love that. Okay. The Magician understands a sacred wisdom that is eternal. Through inner guidance and with great mental power and integrity, the Magician channels the divine. The dynamic energy presented by the Magician enables us to raise our motivations to serve a higher purpose and focus our will toward harmony and grace. The Magician also exemplifies the higher path, encouraging us to deepen our sacred connection so that we may be of service to the world. The Magician reminds us that we have many latent skills and abilities just waiting to unfold. And I do want to clarify this because it's not actually an owl on this card. This is a falcon. This is a Merlin falcon, and I love Merlin. I feel like Merlin's one of my spirit guides, honestly. Or at least he's an ascended master, I believe, and I do work with ascended masters, so he comes to me a lot. I get a little confused sometimes, though. Is it like Enoch, or is it, you know, Methuselah, or is it fucking Merlin? But you can always tell the difference in how the energy, I think, is being, how it's coming to. So we're going to read that. So the Merlin falcon is a native to the northern continents encircling the planet. It is a small falcon with powerful flying abilities. The Merlin has been raised for falconry since the Middle Ages, prized for its great speed and agility. It is rare to see this falcon in nature because it is fast, silent, and discreet. But it is seen occasionally in habitats that include open forests, grasslands, and coastlands. The Merlin moves swiftly with exact precision and control, and the falcon is symbolic of insight, clear vision, and unity with higher powers. So whoever you are, you knew what you had to get, what you had to let go of. Does that mean that you're stuck on an outcome for that situation? Like for me in my situation, I had to walk away from somebody that I deeply care about. And I didn't walk away from them because they chose to walk away from me at the same time. But I had to recognize where my energy was being siphoned. And I'm not meaning that in a negative way, but the level of concentration on the things that just don't matter to me, I would really recognize really quickly, like this person just might not be ready for the type of relationship that I'm trying to have. And I can't sit and watch people do things that I know they're suffering from. And when you're somebody who has the answers for people and they just get triggered, it becomes a you or them. And unfortunately, because I have higher sight and I can see things for what they are, I have the power to believe that this person can do what's right for them, and that's up to them. That's up to their free will. And I'm by no means here to design anyone against their free will. In fact, I'm here to help others awaken into the awareness of how their free will has been manipulated for a long time. Okay, so this bird of action inspires us to hone our mental powers and understand our minds as creative tools to channel the divine forces. Because a lot of what it takes when you're trying to manifest something for the future that isn't coming from, so if you're like connected to somebody who isn't energetically on that same frequency, it can actually affect your manifestations. And if you're trying to do something like really big in the world, like help save the world, I know that might sound crazy large, but I don't think that that's a small feat for any of us to want to do. And how we start to do that is by helping other people heal themselves, because ultimately we can't heal the planet until we heal ourselves. So that's what I'm here to do. And if you're here to do that too, it's not easy walking away, but a lot of this is illusions and things like that, and it shows you your power. It shows you your power, and you become free again in the joy of life, with all of the elements of the world at your fingertips and above your fingertips. All right? And it's funny, the Amanita mushroom came to me earlier today, as well as is so sick. I would love that. I think I might have to make a stool or something into something like an Amanita mushroom. I actually might have to change this. I don't know. I'm going to have to do something with that. I just got some really creative ideas to do with an Amanita mushroom and like a side table. Side note, I like to craft and make things. So, mushrooms are considered symbols of good fortune and longevity, but this is no ordinary mushroom, just like the belladonna. It's not no ordinary flower, okay? So these are shamanic plant medicine. I'm hearing, feeling, and reading here. So, but this is no ordinary mushroom. Fly agaric mushrooms were considered a sacred tool by ancient shamans, and maybe one of the oldest hallucinogenic ceremonial tools known to humanity. Okay, so if you look at Santa Claus and the deers, okay, and then if you even take that farther back and you start to get into the origins of Santa Claus and the Amanita mushroom for them is very shamanic. I mean, they have flying reindeer and things like that. Like, it's a beautiful story, actually. I'll have to get into it soon. Okay, so these were used in sacred rituals. It allowed healers to expand their mind and perceive deep mysteries for the improved welfare of individuals as well as the entire tribe. That's how a lot of shamans do their work with whether it's San Pedro or ayahuasca or DMT or cocoa leaves or I'm sure there's so many more I'm forgetting at this moment right now. Psilocybin itself, ketamine, even sweat lodges. I mean, there's so many different ways that shamans of the past have tapped into that feeling of like that brink with death, and then coming back and having full power over their life. All right. Okay. All right, so the Swordfern. I love ferns. I love ferns. Hey, baby. I need to watch it again. Anyways, it reminds me of Ferngully, and I loved Ferngully as a little kid, and I have very, very deep connections to fairies. I didn't know how deep until recently, but a lot. Like ancient Lemuria is a place that is still partially above water. It's like a mythical place that they talk about in ancient Lumiere, or they also call it what else do they call it? Mu, the island Mu, but it's actually ancient Lemuria, and it was around for millions of years, like over 600 million years ago, but it was like still thriving for 4 millions of years. So the western swordfern inhabits deep conifer forest of western North America. To thrive, it requires moist stream banks and shady nooks where conditions are always damp and cool. The fern is a symbol of prophetic dreaming, magical powers, and riches. It also represents confidence, protection, dignity, and peace. The spiraling, unfurling fronds of the fern, like all spirals, suggest a sacred spiral of life with its complexities and infinite possibilities. And that's just so awesome. I love ferns so much. I talk to them every day. I almost thought that I was gonna, look, she's growing so much. I came back from Maui, and then I repotted her. So she has some older generation still holding on, but we're letting them go gently. Right? Yeah. I was so proud of that plant that it's even growing. And that's one of those things that like they always say, like, if you can take care of a plant, then you can take care of a relationship kind of things. Well, anyways, we're not going to talk about that. The western swordfern. Okay, so now the pondhawk dragonfly. I'm only finding that symbolic because it was just in the card that we freed ourselves from, the disillusionment. It's pondhawk fly. Also, when I was in Maui this summer, there was a koi pond that I used to get water from to feed this lilikoi plant that I was having to resurrect. I felt like I don't actually think that I was the one that actually cut this vine, but I fessed up to it because it was my second day, and I had no idea what was what, and I just really wanted to get into working, and so I started we were cutting off this vine called glycine, and it basically was like an invasive vine that suffocates plants and trees, and it kills them. So that was like our first job when we got there, because his whole property was covered in it. Glycine hanging all over every building. It just looked like a jungle forest, like tunnel. It was really cool, actually. But anyways, so there was these dragonflies, and at the time, all I was doing was working with the roots, working with my own root chakra, and planting and cultivating and learning and being in the sunlight and being in the moonlight and sleeping in the air. I wasn't sleeping in any concrete. I was outside, basically in a screened room, up high to where I could see everything. I could see the ocean, and oh my god, it was so beautiful. But anyways, the dragonflies were super symbolic for me because it was like they were messages from the spirit world. I gained a lot more of my psychic abilities when I went to Maui this last summer. I don't know if that's because I'm a Lemurian starseed, or really what that means, but it's definitely awakened me to a lot of energetic centers in my body. So, this dragonfly dwells primarily around quiet ponds and boggy marshes. It is native to the eastern regions of North America. The iridescent wings of the dragonfly refract light and animate multiple colors, associating it with the power of light, magic, and mysticism. In this card, the wings of the dragonfly form an infinity symbol, and this represents eternality, unlimited possibilities, strength, and dominion over the world of manifest form. The dragonfly reminds us to let go of the illusion, awaken to our inner vision, and gain power through our deepest aspirations. So what are you being called to let go of and awaken to within yourself? You've already been using the tools around you, because if you're at this point, you're watching this video, you've already been given signs of things, and you're already probably at that point of having to let go of something, whether it's something inside of yourself that you needed to let go of to move forward, or whatever the case. So this is the Seven of Wands. And he looks like he's proud of himself, standing up there, you know what I mean? Like, you know, proud of his accomplishments, the things that he's rooted, right? Okay, help me find the wands. There we go. Okay. Seven of Wands. When the Seven of Wands is present, the message is readiness. So, yeah, like it looks like you're ready to go. We have mastered much, but We have mastered much, but more challenges are ahead. We appear to be on the defense, but really we are prepared and not afraid to face the future. And that's true. I'm not on the defense from being in a relationship. I'm actually just really knowing where I could easily go from my own past patterns and allowing somebody else to grow. As a result of the work we have done in the past, we are in a position of advantage to face future challenges. That's awesome. The Seven of Wands appears when we are ready to confront whatever lies ahead with determination and the authority that comes from being inspired by higher spiritual goals. We believe in our cause and are now in a strong position to move into action, and we must cautious, however, not to allow our passions to overrule our newly developed intuitive sense. As always, even from our higher moral ground, it is necessary to listen to inner guidance. Always. Always, always. So the katydid is the little cricket. The common meadow katydid, which is a cricket. And I saw a cricket yesterday when I was cleaning. Where did I see that? Anyways, I saw a cricket. The common meadow katydid is a member of the family of crickets and grasshoppers. It is named for its song, which has a distinctive katydid melody. It is green or brown in color to mimic branches and grasses, keeping it hidden from predators. More than 6,400 meters of insects, 6,400 members of insects, members of this family are found all over the world. Symbolically, the katydid is a quest to discover the true self. In nature, it is so well camouflaged that it has been associated with hidden truths and inner realities. So a lot of shadow work needing and having been done. Because the communication through song, katydids and crickets are associated with the art of communication. They teach us to use the voice wisely as a way to express the desires of the heart. All these meanings reflect the spiritual position of the Seven of Wands. Okay. And I did see the holly tree here, which is symbolic also to me of Christmas. So maybe something that you've been working on since Christmas time. This illusionment that you've been in. You know, let's read that. The English holly looks very much like its cousin, the American holly. Okay. But with more berries. Other varieties exist as well. And holly is known I like to have a little pointer. I get distracted. I get squirreled. Okay. And holly forms with red berries in winter, which has led to its association with the winter solstice. All right. So something about the solstice. Holly is the tree of the spiritual warrior, and symbolic meanings include Dignity, honor, protection, action, and vigilance. Because in the ancient times, it was used to make spear shafts. Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. I actually have one. It's not an English holly, but I did start to make like a wand out of holly branch this winter actually. This very last winter, that's what I was doing, was working with manzanita wood. This is a piece of manzanita wood that was struck by lightning, and so I haven't decided if I'm going to make like a wall figure, like some macrame off of it, like some of my other things that I've done, or if I'm going to, shave it down. I really like it. I have another one that's also looks like horns. They're so beautiful, but they are very hard and also in some places endangered, so just be careful, especially if you live in California. You're not allowed to like harvest that. And I didn't really harvest. This was stuff that was already dead and falling off of the tree, and I asked the tree if it was okay. I didn't take anything living off of it. And manzanita is really hard to cut anyways, and there was no way I was having time doing that with this. Okay. Shit. Earth comes to me how she comes to me, and I've always worked with, I come from the desert, so I always have worked with like, dead things, bones, leaves, feathers, dried flowers, things like that. Holly is the tree of the spiritual warrior. Its symbolic meanings include dignity, honor, protection, action, and vigilance. Okay, so the meaning comes from the throwing of the spear to reach its target. It burns very hot, and so holly was used for the fires that forged weapons. It's so interesting how these things come. All these uses have led to associations with fire, strength, and boldness. Remember, as with all spiritual quests, the goal must be in harmony with the needs of the others. That's so awesome. See, and these are things that you can use for yourself. Like I had somebody say something about creating a mandala, like in one. Okay, so like I have a sacred tree. I have just this tree in my neighborhood that I go to. It's kind of secluded from other people and stuff, although there are houses all around it, and I can just sit there, and it's a ponderosa pine, and there's a bunch of wild rabbits and quails, and that's the hawks. There's a lot of wildlife right there, even though it's kind of in a nasty spot because it's like right up against this huge power line. But sometimes it kind of adds a little bit of energy for me. But anyways, but going somewhere like that and on your way collecting a couple little things, and then when you get to your spot, looking into each of those things that you found, like, okay, I found this feather, and I found this colored rock, and I found this leaf, and then I found this flowers off of this bush. They don't have to be anything like extravagant. They can literally just be along your walk, and then once you find out what the symbolism is, create a little circle and place them all in this beautiful little circle, and then you're supposed to go to it like every day and add to it and move some of the things around and see where your energy is at. I don't know why I was felt called to say that, but maybe that's something you're being called to do. So now I have the 5 of Pentacles. Okay. Pentacle. There we go. Okay, so the 5 of Pentacles is wrapped in woe. These characters are lost and in despair, and they fail to see the luminous church windows right beside them, offering opportunities for renewal. I'm gonna put this here. Okay. And positive change. The lighted window is a beacon. It is there to remind us to seek the light within and stop relying on the material world for our fulfillment. The 5 of Pentacles prompts us to stop seeking pity and sympathy and dwelling on our troubles. Rather, it heralds a call for us to turn our gaze from the outer world through the attention and focus of our inner potential. We can overcome our outworn desperation and misery, and we can awaken to the promise of the indwelling spirit, which is the master of manifestation. So the red-breasted nuthatch, I feel like I've been seeing this bird today in flocks, and so I was kind of curious before I started reading it, but now I'm just going to read it. The red-breasted nuthatch is a small aerobatic bird that makes its home in the northern subalpine forests of Northern America. Its abbreviated high-pitched call is often compared to a toy tin horn. This little red-breasted bluish-gray bird nests in dead wood and lives on a diet of insects and seeds. When watching the nuthatch in its forest habitat at our feeders, we will often see it foraging upside down. Interesting. The ability has led to its most important symbolic meaning, which is the capacity to view things with a new, fresh, and unconventional perspective. This special power suggests that we should do when the Five of Pentacles appears. Okay, so the nuthatch is a symbol of bravery. It reminds us that it is a time to take courage and to be sharp. And to be aware of new solutions within our reach. The nuthatch represents mental and emotional rebuilding because this little bird is a master of the spiritual quest. The source of this meaning is demonstrated by its amazing agility and ingenuity. Yes, ingenuity as it climbs up and down and around tree trunks, branches, and twigs. Remarkably, it even walks on the underside of tree limbs. The nuthatch tells us it is time to look at our life in a new way. That's cool. I think that's really cool. Now there's the garden snowdrop, which is this flower here, these white flowers. And I've been seeing white flower symbolism here. I actually just gave a white flower to my ancestors in my sacred tree the other day, just as I was walking to my tree, sit there for 10 minutes and connect myself with Mother Earth and the heavens or whatever, and sat there and grounded and anchored in, and came across a white flower, and I just turned around and went and picked it and thanked the bush and then gave it to my tree. Maybe I should go check and see how it is. Maybe that was a reminder for me to go check out my mandala that I started the other day. But, all right. So the garden snowdrop is a small flower that represents, I'm sorry guys, my voice is really bothering me right now. So I need some tea. Okay, we're gonna get this out. Yes, I love it. It's so warm. Okay. The garden snowdrop is a small flower that emerges in late winter, sometimes right through the snow. It is the first flower to appear each year, even before the crocus. And in southern climates, it often grows all winter long. The garden snowdrop is native to most of Europe and has been introduced and naturalized everywhere. The flower looks like drops of milk hanging from a stem, which probably led to its Latin name, Galanthus, which means milk white flower. Symbolic meanings for this beautiful, delicate flower include consolation, hope, expectancy, and faith in times of adversity. So that's super awesome. So you're coming out of this. I know it's been a long-ass winter, guys. I know it's been a long winter. We keep thinking, oh my God, it's here, it's here, it's here. The eclipse just gave us more energy to sit with, to help us purge during this Mercury retrograde. Plus, we have some really cool conjunctions, some really cool alignments and things like that. So just to kind of keep this message short and sweet, we're going to go ahead and go with the energy that I think that you are going to, that you're currently in and going to be moving into, which is the Hermit. And there's nothing wrong with being the Hermit. Personally, I'm a Hermit myself. I need to make sure I can differentiate the energies that are going on around me, especially being a new empath to life and not really, just trying to gain the tools, and also the new, as you gain in levels, if you will, in spirituality, you kind of get met with a little bit more spiritually. The solitary figure known as the Hermit travels a path that leads to separation from the world. The Hermit travels alone, a decision that was made by choice. The Hermit knows much of the world is The Hermit knows much of the world, its pains and pleasures, and its distractions and allure. The Hermit has chosen to leave these forms of worldly entrapment behind, free of ego, and distinctly advanced on the journey of the soul. This keeper of spiritual wisdom travels onward, seeking more light and even greater knowledge. The Hermit is a luminary, and the shining lantern is a beacon. It shines to illuminate the path that continues further and serves as a guiding light for others. So don't give up. Literally, you know what you need to do. You know how you need to separate. You've already been doing that. We can too follow this path, but few seem to do so. Leaving the world to pursue the callings, trials, and joys of the Spirit is not for everyone. But as we journey through life, we can always make that time for quiet meditation and reflection. During these times, we will feel the presence of the hermit, who will be there to guide us. This solitary figure who lights the way is always available as an inner guide. See this this flower here? Oh, that flower. Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay. The solitary figure who lights the way is always available as an inner guide, illuminating the higher path and keeping the eternal torch of wisdom burning. So, the hermit thrush. And I was kind of wondering this because there was like I was looking up for some reason like lucky charms. What were the 7 lucky charms? And thrush was one of the 7 lucky charms. And I didn't know what thrush was, but now I do, I guess. The hermit thrush is fairly common in mixed woodlands and thickets, but is seldom seen because its brown, it's a bird, gray colors blends perfectly with its surroundings. Okay. It is a solitary and elusive bird that ranges throughout North America. The shy, reclusive lifestyle of the hermit thrush, its bird's name is the hermit thrush, which benefits its name, makes it an excellent symbol of the hermit. The hermit thrush has a complex ethereal song that filters through the forest, but is noticed by few, perhaps because the bird's nature seems to keep it hidden. In Celtic lore, it is believed that the song of the thrush inspires us to a higher cause. So you have been called, and you know you've been called. You know that something is guiding you, something is calling you, and you know you are powerful. You do. And you know the trials that you've come from and the power of those struggles. So stop acting like you're in the fucking winter still, okay? Because you just came out of that shit. Yeah, it's still a little blue, but you know what? You're connected to the divine. You are connected to the divine, almighty God. Now, the ginkgo tree is what he's standing on. Is so ancient that it is called the living fossil tree. Ginkgo is believed the most ancient tree in the known world. Ginkgo is also something you can take in like a supplement form, which I've tried before, and it gave me some clear ass energy, like some clear energy. I think it was, yeah. Anyways. It is similar to structure to fossils that date as far back as 270 million years ago. So see, I'm definitely going to go with I'm talking to another soul, ancient Lemurian starseed. It has evolved long before the flowering plant. Because its connection to the unknowable past, ginkgo has become a symbol of changelessness and the ability to draw wisdom from the life force that is eternal. Ginkgo is a long-lived tree with the individual trees alive today that are believed to be 2,500 years old, 2,500 years old. These trees were planted around temples in China and Japan as far back as the 17th century. And are still alive today. Many trees have been documented to be 1,000 to 1,500 years old of age. Ginkgo has also always been revered in Eastern religions as a symbol of hope, peace, and eternal life. Other symbolic meanings include a passageway to higher awareness and breaking free from illusion. Okay, this whole time I was reading that, I was thinking, maybe I'm being called to these ancient trees. Because I have tree, connections to the trees, long story short, I'm thinking maybe you and I both are being called to connect to trees more, because trees carry knowledge in the winds. Trees carry knowledge, and this tree is 25,000 years old and it's still living in China and in Japan. I need to go on a tree retreat. A tree retreat. That sounds fun. I would love to go on a tree retreat. A trail and a tree retreat. Let's do this. All right. Last but not least, Solomon's seal. And that was this most beautiful freaking star-like flower. Solomon's seal. It doesn't matter what culture you go into. Even I'm reading this book about Peruvian sacred codes right now. And they even use that star in their rituals to connect to that Christos light. So that's interesting. I don't know why I was... Anyways, because I've watched some on YouTube, like some ancient Andean, Peruvian, people, and they're going with the shamans and stuff, and some of the rituals that they do, and I'm like, why? What? They're using... Whoa, okay. And then they have Jesus even, and they have Buddha sitting there who are ascended masters, and things like that. So Solomon's seal was valued by medieval herbalists. I'm getting a lot of medieval energy as well, so you could have had another life as well in Renaissance era, medieval times, maybe pre-Renaissance. Anyways, okay. Solomon's seal was so valued by medieval herbalists that healers that they believed it had been touched by the hand of King Solomon and given his seal. And to this day, it is valued as a medicinal herb. This spice is native to North America, and other members of this genus are found worldwide. Symbolically, Solomon's seals refer to the power of light to drive away darkness. And this also, I'm feeling calling within me right now to say that you have the seal of Solomon. You have the seal of Solomon. You have the ability to, the power of light to drive away darkness. You are a light worker. That's what it means to be a light worker. Historically, the plant was used as spiritual protection and to consecrate holy sites. The shining, and also what part of being a light worker is working with the grids of the world, with the light grids, the energy grids of the planet and the universe. The shining six-pointed star, also known as Solomon's seal, represents wisdom. It is a symbol of inextinguishable light, a light that no worldly power can diminish. This is your godlike light within you. And, trust and believe that if you've ever thought about what a light worker is, what it means and all that stuff, or you've even been into ancient civilizations in the past, like, even Star Wars and, things like that, ancient Atlantis, there's a whole lot to be learned there. And I thank you so much for your time here in this moment. But this was just a little bit of encouragement for that light worker out there that's dealing with the current events. But you will get out of it. You're already coming out of it. Thank you so much and have a blessed day. Mwah.